Thank you so much, Sean, for joining me today. We've known each other for quite a while, but we're finally getting to do this little interview for Weather Elevate. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, Erica. Very much appreciate
To
it.
talk a little bit about, from your perspective, how Climate Central came to be and what need do you serve in this space?
Right. The origins go back about a decade when there was a group of funders and professionals saw the need for some kind of media clearinghouse for climate information. They started with this pilot program saying, okay, well, let's take one meteorologist in South Carolina, that was Jim Gandy, and if we produced certain products, certain graphical products and bulletins once a week, he can explain climate on a broader scale to his audience. So with that, a trusted messenger, a trusted source, and trusted information was a good way to educate the public. So, we've got more than 1,000 meteorologists across the country getting the Climate Matters program every week. So it's been very successful. We understand the limitations that broadcast meteorologists have regarding time and resources. So a lot of the graphics got put together initially so you could just drop them in very quickly into our weather show. We've evolved the product to called Climate Matters in the Newsroom to include a broader narrative, include story ideas, include more data, and importantly, include people that you can interview very quickly. Because our point is not to tell anybody how to tell their story,
Right.
because it's different in Miami than it is in Seattle. It's different in Chicago than it is in Dallas. But to be there to support the work that any one meteorologist or journalist is doing to tell the local story. Our job is to help media professionals tell the story. And of course, people still get a lot of their information from broadcast media that a lot of people are either tuning into or streaming or visiting with on social media. But those are still people who are in those communities for a long time and have become trusted.
Your job at Climate Central is not to construct a narrative.
No.
Your job is to provide data. You are nonpartisan and non-biased.
We're staying with the science, what the science tells us from whether it's the AMS, the National Academies, the Royal Society, NASA. I mean, we're all following those leads.
There are still some broadcast Mets out there who are in the camp that I was 10 years ago, afraid of the pushback, perhaps, afraid that management might say, oh, don't, talk about controversial issues. What advice would you give to someone who is in that camp right now?
I'd say, first of all, please be educated on where the foundational science is. Saying like, well, I just don't understand it. Well, on some level, as a science communicator, you need to step up your game. If you know a little bit of astronomy, you know a little bit of seismology, you know a little bit of volcanology, because you're asked those questions as the station scientist, you're going to have to be ready to field at least some of these questions. Everybody needs to know their audience. They need to understand their audience. When we talk about climate change, how am I going to come at this so that my audience is interested in it? And then it comes back to communications, right? How do you communicate it in a way that people are going to understand it and not feel threatened by it? People of all ideologies tend to trust NASA more than other agencies. So work on those messages that resonate with a conservative audience.
So what have you learned about communicating climate change information in the time that you've been at Climate Central?
I try to emulate other people I think are doing it very well. Catherine Hayhoe at Texas Tech, I think is just fabulous by meeting people from common values and a common goal. I also love Deke Arndt at NCEI.
Yep.
He's a native Oklahoman.
This is a way that you can establish credibility and build trust.
This is a way to set yourself apart. Yeah. If nobody else is doing this in your market and you're looking to add value, why should people watch you if they can get all the information here? Give the people information that they can't get anywhere else. What does climate change mean for me in my backyard? Yeah. That totally builds your credibility when you approach it in the right way. And it's going to also build your own personal brand. So management will take you more seriously and respect what you're doing and basically keep you gainfully employed.